The recent offensive launched by Israel against Hamas terrorists has caused a great deal of division among Indian politicians. Members of the opposition have been voicing their concerns about the impact of the conflict of innocent civilians, with many blaming Israel for the bombing of Al-Ahli hospital. As tensions continue to rise, political leaders such as Owaisi are calling for unity among all parties to support the people of Gaza, while others like SP MLA Abu Azmi will be organizing prayer meetings to show solidarity with Palestine. First, let's listen into what the SP Neta said.
20 अक्टूबर जुमा की शाम में फ़लस्तीनियों की आज़ादी और इसराइल का फ़लस्तीन की ज़मीन पर नाजायज़ कब्ज़े की मुखालफत पर एक तजवीज़ पेश की जाएगी। याद रखिए, कुछ लोगों ने सोशल मीडिया पर वायरल किया कि रैली निकाली जाएगी। बिल्कुल सख्ती के साथ मैं आपसे गुजारिश कर रहा हूँ कि कोई रैली का एहतमाम है ही नहीं है। सिर्फ उस इस्लाम जिमखाना के परमाइसेस में हम दुआ का एहतमाम करेंगे और सारी दुनिया से गुजारिश करेंगे कि इस लड़ाई को ख़त्म किया जाए और हमारी मस्जिद अक्सा को आज़ाद किया जाए।
Now, Assam's Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma launched a scathing attack on Owaisi and his supporters. He took a sarcastic dig at them, questioning whether they would visit Gaza despite their professed sympathy for its people. Listen it.
फिर ओवैसी जी ने ट्वीट किया कि वो एक मार्च रखेंगे और सारी पार्टीज को इनविटेशन जाएगा।
गाजा तक जाएगा, गाजा तक, गाजा में कि हैदराबाद का बिरयानी खा के। आपने मार्च रखेगा हैदराबाद में बिरयानी खा के, यहाँ वोट सेकने का काम करेगा। आपको इतना दम है तो जाओ गाजा में, ठीक है? तो यहाँ में आप क्या ड्रामा करते हो?
Well, amidst all the blame game, the Prime Minister has conveyed his condolences over the loss of civilian lives at the Al-Ahli hospital in Gaza. He asserted that India will continue to send humanitarian assistance to the Palestinian people. On the other side, more and more voices are now speaking up in solidarity with victims of strikes in Gaza. Those who have been silent on the war so far have also now come out to support Palestine and oppose India's stance. First, it was NCP founder Sharad Pawar who called the Prime Minister's support for Israel unfortunate, and now DMK's A. Raja has also stressed supporting oppressed Hamas. The BJP, on the other hand, has called out the selectivity of those crying for oppressed in one nation while turning a blind eye to butchery in the other.
இஸ்ரேலை இந்தியா எப்போதும் ஆதரித்ததில்லை. பாலஸ்தீனமும் ஆதரித்திருக்கோம். எந்த நாடு ஒடுக்கப்படுகிறதோ அந்த நாட்டை ஆதரிப்பதுதான் நேர்மையான வழிமுறை. அணிசேர நாடுகளின் தத்துவம் தான்.
ये जो है असम के मुख्यमंत्री बोल रहे हैं, कल तक कांग्रेस में थे, कांग्रेस का नमक खाया था, आज नमक का कारखाना बदल लिया है। लगता है वो भी आज जिस पार्टी में है वो हमास से कम नहीं है। टेररिज्म, अपने विरोधियों को ख़त्म करना, एजेंसी का दुरुपयोग करना। देखिए, सबसे पहले ये महाशय ने, मुख्यमंत्री महोदय ने इतिहास को पढ़ना चाहिए, इतिहास को समझना चाहिए। खास करके आप वो बीजेपी में है तो पैलेस्टाइन और इसराइल के बारे में अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी साहब की क्या भूमिका रही है, एक बार समझ लीजिए।
This brings me to my legitimate question, which is Israelophobia for a few votes. Let's open this up and go across to our guests.
You're watching the NewsHour first. Debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Kishore Tiwari, I want to come to you first. What is the similarity between Hamas and BJP?
We have been supporting the PLO, but any innocent person's killing, we are against it. But Sharma should has advised Sharad Pawar to send his daughter on a Gaza. So that was unwanted. And
this reaction was warranted. This reaction was all right to equate the BJP with Hamas. Is this just being done for vote bank politics?
BJP has created a political terror in India. They are splitting the party. They are demolishing the party, and they are. But that was the intention of.
So Hamas's butchery is equal to what BJP is doing?
No. He was talking the political terror, and that what the Hamas is doing, the killing of the innocent people. My party is against to that.
Don't you think this is very insensitive? Don't you think this is insensitive just for a few votes or to just gain some political brownie points? Equating what Hamas did in Israel with little babies, beheading them?
No. We are against that, and we strongly condone to it. But our stand with the Palestine was very much clear. We have been supporting PLOs, and we have been demanding. In fact, all parties are demanding that innocent killing should be stopped and the peace should be restored in the Gaza.
Innocents are being killed on both sides, Mr. Tiwari. And the problem is that the prayer meetings are happening only for victims in Palestine. Dr. Naval Kishore, how would you like to respond to that? Why no prayer meeting and no protest meet for victims in Israel?
No, first of all, I think you should clear yourself. He said he referred the word Hamas to Mr. Sarma.
He said the party he is in today is no less than Hamas.
He did not respond to party. I don't know what I could get is he told the way he responded to the daughter of Sharad Pawarji. In that sense, in reaction to that, he says that he is Hamas to BJP. That way, I think he has said. And number two, nobody is trying to nobody is trying to say something in support of Hamas. We all condemn the act or any terror act in the world, including Hamas, on anything. But the rights of Palestinians and in response to that, if Israel decide to kill the innocent Palestinian, the government of India should be clear on its past historical stand vis-a-vis Palestine. That is what is the whole intention of opposition.
The Prime Minister spoke about today. He said he spoke to the President of Palestine, Mahmoud Abbas, and he reiterated India's long-standing issue as far as Israel and Palestine are concerned. He also said India will continue humanitarian assistance to the people of Palestine. He has also conveyed condolences to the individuals who've been killed in the attack at the hospital.
Yes, that is what should be their stand. It should be clear on that. And please do not equate this with the vote, brownie point, or equate this vote. These are international issues. And there is history of international relations and the viewpoint of India. There is hardly difference. If BJP is trying to make any difference between the BJP stand on international issues and the opposition, it is their problem. It is BJP who wants to divide the domestic factors which leads to international relations.
We are not interested in that. How did it all start? Dr. Naval? The Prime Minister spoke against the terror attack on Israel, and ever since then, this politics has started here in India. So on what basis are you saying that the BJP is doing this? Mr. Vadakkan will answer that. I want to go across to Mr. Vadakkan. Mr. Vadakkan, do answer what questions have been posed to you, but also tell me, now the Prime Minister himself has spoken to the Palestinian Authority, to Mahmoud Abbas. Then why is the opposition being blamed for raising the Palestinian cause? Why is the opposition being blamed for calling prayer meetings for the victims in Palestine? The Prime Minister has conveyed condolence for that.
Well, this is a confused lot of opposition leaders. They are frozen in time. Relations with Palestine has gone back to the year almost 2 decades back. And when did the Hamas come over in Israel? Was 29th June 2006. Now it's almost 2 decades. And what they got was 50%. So Hamas does not represent Palestine anymore. Hamas is a radicalized organization with butchery, with the kind of acts that they have done. Now, to relate Palestine, our Prime Minister categorically stated that these killings must stop. Prime Minister has very categorically spoken to leaders and said that he would support whatever humanitarian efforts that are made to stop this war. The MEA has said this, but if these opposition leaders need a hearing aid to understand what the Prime Minister said, it's their problem.
Okay, it's the opposition's problem.
Arafat is one person who is respected across the board. That era is over. We have our external affairs self-interest. We have to support those who support us during our bad days. Israel has supported, that we stand with them on the kind of butchery that happened in their state. And we have said it. Now, the other issue is about the bombing of the hospital. The American Pentagon has already stated the fact is attack has been on the parking lot. Israel has such technology that they don't hit parking lots.
Okay.
And as soon as the hit
No, but
was
apart from that, thousands of people have died in the airstrike, so that cannot be negated, that cannot be overlooked. Sanjay Jha, finally the Congress party seems to have corrected its mistake or realized its mistake, because Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge released a statement where there is condemnation of Hamas's butchery. Rahul Gandhi, I believe, has also tweeted condemning what Hamas has done. So I believe the Congress party realizes the first message that they sent across through that CWC resolution.
I think the party that recognized that it had made a terrible international blunder in diplomatic speak was Mr. Narendra Modi's government. Because at the very beginning, no one, Swati, has said that the Hamas's attack on Israeli civilians was not a terror attack that should be condemned. Everybody said that, including the Congress party. Read Jairam Ramesh's explicit statement. Point number 2, at the same time, Israel has been committing war crimes in Gaza. Look at the number of people dead. I mean, the number of casualties, if you want to do a headcount comparison, which is, by the way, a very dispassionate and a cold way to look at it, but that's how war analysts do it. The number of people dead in Palestine at the moment, or rather Gaza, or almost 3 times the number of people dead in Israel. That's not a war crime. To bomb a hospital is not a war crime. To actually make several hospitals redundant is not a war crime. Do you know the number of children who have died in Gaza, Mr. Tom Vadakan? And Tom has the audacity, and Tom is a friend of mine, but Tom, you should take that statement back. Because let me tell you, you are becoming a mouthpiece of America. You guys are making India into a vassal state of America. You follow exactly what America says. You are not making India stand up independent as a strategic foreign policy thinker. I can understand we have our own interest in mind. Please don't make India into a puppet of Washington, for God's sake.
You know, but how is condemning terror and a terrorist organization becoming someone's mouthpiece? India, I believe, was the first country to take a stand against terrorism.
Swati, let me tell you, end of day, every country has to have a nuanced view of knowing what is going on. Everybody said it's an unprovoked terror attack. But do you know that the number of people who understand Middle Eastern politics said that for 16 years, nobody justified the terror attack. But they said for 16 years, when you put people in a siege, when you're doing ethnic cleansing in West Bank, then you are provoking people day in and night out by harassment, by a blockade. They can't get food and water without your permission. That is not bad enough. I mean, imagine the mental health in that part of the world. So this is the basic bottom line. And then to make matters, Swati, from bad to worse, the right wing, you have Tushar Gupta of the right wing, you have Tom Vadakan of the right wing, you have Anand Ranganathan of the right wing. India has become the disinformation capital of the world, spreading fake news on...
Okay, I'll have to bring all the people that you spoke about. Dr. Ranganathan, even Joe Biden, who said that we stand with Israel today, tomorrow and always, and we believe Israel has the right to defend itself, we'll provide them whatever they need. Even he expressed concern when it came to the civilian casualty in Palestine. And if the opposition is doing that here in India, why is the opposition being accused of vote bank politics?
Swati, the panelist before me who used to belong to the Darbari wing but is now from the Loony wing doesn't even understand what the Prime Minister has said. He has not, Swati, you know,
okay, Mr.
you can either have me.
He never interrupted you. In fact, he did not interrupt anyone.
Or you can, I don't know where these people learn their manners from.
Okay, no personal remarks, please. Mr. You also called him a right wing. You also said, ye right wing ke hai, and you also made some accusations, so he's responding to that. Go ahead.
Oh my God, so right wing is offensive.
Just be quiet.
Right wing people watching the show.
Dr. Ranganathan.
Just be quiet.
Dr. Ranganathan, go ahead, please.
Join the
Swati, if somebody is offended by being called a lapdog or belonging to a Darbari wing, I can't help it. He is suspended. That's a small mercy for him. Now, can I please, for heaven's sake, continue before being interrupted by these loony asinine people who got nothing to say? Now, yes, thanks, Tom. Now, Swati, let me just give you the facts. When Hamas perpetrated that terror strike the biggest terror strike since 9/11, killed 1,400 Israelis. What did the Prime Minister do? He condemned it. What was wrong in it? He did not bracket it with the rights of Palestinians. But when Hamas's stray rocket partially destroyed the hospital, notwithstanding that the health ministry of Gaza, that is run by terrorist Hamas, said that Israeli airstrike had done it and 500 were killed. All that lie has been demolished, that was being peddled by the likes of Sanjay Jha and other cohorts of this Darbari wing. Then the Prime Minister said, I am against any innocent being killed. He did not say that Israel has done it. He did not say that the stray rocket of Hamas has done it. Where has he put the foot wrong? This is the problem. These agenda-driven propagandists like Sanjay Jha, they believe that by mouthing these vituperatives, they will be taken back by Congress. I'm sorry. Congress has moved on. Jairam Ramesh is the new kid on the block. Sanjay, you are a dinosaur. Now, let me come to the final point about this thing about ethnic cleansing being carried out by Israel in Gaza and war crimes. I ask you a very simple question. Israel provides something to the Gazans. The Gazans use that to attack Israel. The Hamas is using Gazans as human shields. Hamas is using hospital basements as ammunition dumps. In that situation, what is a democratic country supposed to do? I ask you a very simple question. Now, before I know I'm being interrupted by this person, but I have to continue because, you know, you have to ignore such people. Finally, when India bombed Balakot, a few collaterals Pakistanis were also killed. Now, would you say that it was not in India's right and interest to bomb the terror hub of Balakot because a few innocent Pakistanis were killed? Would you say that? Is that your intelligence saying it? Unfortunately, the only thing lower than Sanjay Jha's credibility is his intelligence. You can't do anything about it.
Mr. Jha.
Swati, a quick rejoinder.
Yes.
I am aghast and appalled
Sanjay Jha.
that Anand Ranganathan believes
you are incapable of giving rejoinders. You will remain suspended.
That
you will remain suspended, my friend. The whole point of the matter is you have absolutely no point to bring out, and you don't come prepared for your debates. It is an after-dinner meal for you. That is the thing. You have your old monk and you think you can enter into a debate.
Okay, I'm not able to hear anything that Dr. Ranganathan or Mr. Jha is saying. Mr. Jha, please respond to whatever you could hear from Anand Ranganathan, all the questions that he's asked.
Swati, I can't believe that here is a gentleman on your show who said that today's occupation of Gaza and West Bank is an act of charity because apparently they provide them services. For 16 years under siege, that is called providing services. For 2 weeks, people couldn't live under a quarantine during the COVID. And this man is telling us for 16 years under siege is providing services.
Democratically
elected
Hamas.
Or are you a joker?
Does this man, I know it is a magazine for a scientist to point out his ignorance in history. But somebody has to do it. I have to carry that gauntlet. I have to inform this uninformed person. And I don't know what he does to get on these debates so woefully unprepared. What is his occupation? What is he doing?
Okay, I want to bring in Tushar Gupta now. Tushar Gupta, every time this issue will come up, people will talk about the root cause. People will talk about where it all began. But today in focus is what Hamas has done. Today in focus is the fact that, yes, there are civilian casualties, which is only rising in Palestine. And we see an impact of all of that on domestic politics here in India.
You know, Swati, there are 2-3 things we need to understand. One, the people who sort of make a case for Hamas, are they foolish enough to believe that if they were facing a Hamas terrorist, they would be spared by the bullets? All these people who sit here every day and sort of talk about Israeli terror and make a case for Hamas fighting back as some sort of a resistance movement, do they think that the Hamas terrorists will spare them or their families or their friends? Are they that foolish enough to believe it? Hamas is no secular organization. Hamas is no humanitarian organization. Hamas does not represent the people of Palestine even. Who does Hamas represent? A radical mindset. And people here, just because they disagree with the foreign policy stance of this government, are actually backing Hamas. That's how foolish they are. Hamas is not for the Palestinian people, because if they were for the Palestinian people, they would have given peace a chance. Now, Sanjay Jha talks about the body count here. Let's talk about 2 simple questions. amongst Israel and Hamas, which is the party that does not want to coexist? It's Hamas. Which is the party that does not want to give peace a chance? It's again Hamas. Which is the party that was the aggressor? It was again Hamas. Hamas was the one slaughtering civilians who had nothing to do with the conflict. They did not care about the nationality. And I want to correct Anand Ranganathan on two aspects. Quiet, Mr. Sanjay Jha, quiet. Absolutely no utility of this gentleman except being a fired face of the Congress on debates where the Congress does not stand as spokesperson.
Let's restrict our comments only on the issue, only on the subject. Tushar Gupta.
He's a liar, he's misleading your viewers. I will fact
No. I need to call out Mr. Sanjay Jha. He's been making personal attacks since the beginning of this debate. I have been listening to him since the beginning of this debate. What utility does he have? He's just a pseudo-Congress face who's been fired by the Congress. He doesn't understand that Hamas is not leading any resistance movement.
एक नंबर का लायर है तू अभी एक्सपोज करता हूं.
It's not leading any resistance movement.
You finish. Let Swati call me. I'll answer you. You finish. Let Swati.
Okay, respond.
Yeah, Swati. Here is the big.
Is Hamas a terrorist organization? Yes or no? Is Hamas a terrorist organization? Yes or no? Is Hamas a terror organization? Yes or no? Hamas a terror organization? Yes or no?
Listen to me.
Yes or no? Hamas is a terror organization? Yes or no? अरे भाई तुम पढ़े लिखे हो ना बताओ. तुम पढ़े लिखे हो ना बताओ. Yes or no? तुम पढ़े लिखे हो ना बताओ. Hamas terror organization है.
Let him respond. Let him come in.
Swati, here is my answer.
terror organization.
बोलने दीजिए, आप बोलने दीजिए Mr. Gupta. Let him answer. बोलने तो दीजिए, बोलने दीजिए.
So I'll tell you the big lie. Number one, the Palestinian Authority that the Israeli government talks to has recognized not just Israel, but has recognized the state of Israel. But the Israel government has not recognized Palestine. The biggest lie has been spread by Mr. Trump. This is the lie of the BJP, the RSS, and the right wing, and they do it every day to mislead the viewers. To the viewers of Times Now, you deserve much more respect than you get by people like this.
Is Hamas a terrorist organization? Yes or no? Mr. Jha, is Hamas a terror organization? Yes or no?
The viewers are very intelligent.
Is Hamas a terror organization? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Hamas a terrorist organization.
Stop beating around the bush. Stop
Dr. Nawal Kishore.
Is Hamas a terror organization?
Dr. Nawal Kishore.
Yes or no?
Modi called Hamas a terror organization.
जवाब है नहीं ज्ञानी बनते.
No, there is only one point which I would like to make. If
program में आके सही बकवास कर रहे हो.
Okay, Dr. Nawal Kishore, go ahead.
Just one point. There is no one who is supporting the terror act of Hamas. But can that become the reason to justify genocidal act of Israel? Can anyone justify that? Can Tushar Gupta can you justify that? Who is saying that that Hamas act is not to be condemned?
No one is justifying
but
anything.
Is that the reason to have indiscriminate air bombing against Palestinian civilians? How can you justify
The Hamas
that?
is hiding. It is co-locating with the civilians in this fight against terrorism.
So you will,
Dr. Nawal Kishore,
you will finish
Dr.
the
Nawal
civilian.
Kishore, what is your suggestion to Israel? How should Israel defend its territory? How should Israel defend its citizens? How should Israel make sure that Hamas, does not carry out this attack in the future? What is your suggestion to Israel?
No, there are international organizations. One must approach. One does not try to finish
so while Hamas is entering their territory,
itself.
Butchering their kids, beheading their little babies who've not even, seen the world, who before could say mama and papa and identify their parents, their heads have been beheaded. They've been killed in their crib. Children, elderly, men, women have been taken hostage. So amidst all of this, Israel should say, let's look at what the organizations have to say. Let's see what other countries have to say. And then perhaps we will act. Does Israel have the right to defend itself or not?
No, but the Israel must defend itself against that terror act.
How? How is that going to happen? That's what I'm saying. What is your suggestion to Israel? What is your counter strategy against Hamas? How should they identify where Hamas terrorists are? How do they separate them from the civilians? How should Israel proceed? Dr. Nawal Kishore.
No, can Israel be indiscriminate in its air bombing? Has it got right to finish Palestinians just for the sake of finishing Hamas or fighting with Hamas? Can they survive this kind of act? Will world ever allow or accept this kind of reaction? This kind of genocidal act? There are several ways in which, see, whatever even the world war, after being fought, it is discussed on the table. The peace talks happen. Why can't it take place? Why America? What is
Discuss it on the
role
table,
of,
Dr. Ranganathan.
America?
And then Kishore Tiwari, discuss it on the table. Wait, discuss it on the table.
Swati, first of all, I must thank you, applaud you. There was a huge spike of intelligence for the last 30 seconds when Sanjay Jha was silent. Thank you. Now, as far as Professor Saab Naval Kishore is concerned, let me just remind him that it is Israel. Now, it is Israel that has not only proposed, carried on with more than 17 on the table agreements, Professor Saab, including the Oslo agreement. And as for Sanjay spreading fake news, that's not news, but Israel recognizes Palestinian Authority. That is what the whole Oslo Accord was all about. What is he doing? Where does he learn all this data? Now, number two, it's a very simple question to Professor Saab. Professor Naval Kishore, very simple question. आपने हमास ने परपेट्रेट किया टेरर अटैक, जैसे 9/11 पे हुआ था, उसके बाद ओसामा बिन लादेन पाकिस्तान में आके छुप गया। क्या आप कहना चाहते हैं कि जो पाकिस्तानियों ने ओसामा बिन लादेन को छुपाया जिस घर में, उस घर पे अमेरिका अटैक ना करे? बोल दीजिए, हाँ बोलिए।
अरे रंगनाथन जी, आपके जो चीफ मिनिस्टर है वो कहते हैं आप तो हमास से हैं, आप चले जाइए वहां पे, गाजा चले जाइए, आप इजराइल चले जाइए, आप इजराइल चले जाइए, क्या दिक्कत है आपको? आप इस तरह के सवाल जवाब करेंगे तो इससे यही उभरकर सामने आएगा कि you do not want to, you just want to manipulate the issues as you did in Manipur.
टेररिस्ट एम्यूनिशंस डंप बनाए हुए हैं, उन्होंने ह्यूमन शील्ड्स रखी हुई हैं। ऐसी सिचुएशन में इजराइल टेररिस्ट को कैसे टारगेट करे? और ये आपने कह दिया जो इनडिस्क्रिमिनेट टारगेट है ना, ये झूठ है। इजराइल कभी भी इनडिस्क्रिमिनेट टारगेटिंग नहीं करता है। प्लीज लेट्स टॉक अबाउट फैक्ट्स।
रंगनाथन जी, आप तो लगता है कि इजराइल के सलाहकार हैं।
अब देखिए, आप फैक्ट्स बोलेंगे तो इजराइल का सलाहकार
तो आप फिर पैलेस्टाइन के सलाहकार हो जाएंगे। इस तरीके से तो कोई लॉजिक नहीं है इस बात में। किशोर तिवारी हैज नॉट स्पोकन। फिर इस तरह से तो कोई आपको पैलेस्टाइन का सलाहकार कह देगा, कुछ और कह देगा। उससे पहले मैं किशोर तिवारी के पास जा रही हूँ। किशोर तिवारी प्लीज।
नहीं, मैं रंगनाथन जी को एक ही बात कहना चाहता हूं कि यहाँ कोई हमास की एक्शन को सपोर्ट नहीं कर रहा है, लेकिन फिलिस्तीन के अंदर जो जिनोसाइड हो रहा है, उसके लिए भी तो बात होनी चाहिए। और उनकी आजादी, उनके लोगों का जीने का अधिकार, इस पे भी बात होनी चाहिए। हम चाहते हैं कि भारत का जो पीएलओ को लेके स्टैंड था वो इस वक्त थोड़ा डाइल्यूट हुआ है, क्योंकि प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने जब हमास का अटैक हुआ तो इजराइल के तरफ झुक गए हुए,
क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री किशोर जी, प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा कि टेरर अटैक है। प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा कि टेरर अटैक है, और हम भी क्योंकि टेरर अटैक के विक्टिम्स रह चुके हैं, जब हम पर टेरर अटैक होता है तो हम उस वक्त क्या करते हैं?
नहीं, फिलिस्तीनियों के अधिकारों की भी बात होनी चाहिए,
बिल्कुल होनी चाहिए। इसीलिए महमूद अब्बास से उन्होंने बात की, इसीलिए उन्होंने महमूद अब्बास से बात की। उनको कहा कि जो असिस्टेंस भारत दे रहा था अब तक वो उसको कंटिन्यू करेगा, और वहां जो नागरिक मारे जा रहे हैं उसके लिए उन्होंने दुख भी प्रकट किया। He did convey his condolence. But when it comes to terrorism, everybody has to take a united stand. But I want to bring in Tom Vadakan. Tom Vadakan, the allegation is that India का जो stand रहा है till now, it has been diluted by the current establishment.
The problem here is these debates and these political parties are frozen in time. Arafat was a different person. He led a party which was more secular, and there was even Vajpayee ji supported him. Things have changed. This is a change phenomenon. I would request Sanjay Jha to examine the kind of restraint Israel has maintained. They've asked people to move away to the corner of Palestine so that they may not be attacked. This attack on the Baptist hospital is in fact corroborated with facts and not false news. It is not just the American embassy. They have put it out on record. The parking lot has been attacked, and by a misfired missile coming in from the concerned people. Now, what I want to suggest is, within minutes, Sanjay, they discovered 500 people have been killed. Where did this figure come in? this kind of misinformation campaign is run across. My considered view is that let this war end.
Lies.
Israel has a right to protect itself. There is no question about that. You walk into a country.
Absolutely. Israel has the right to protect itself, and it has the right to avenge the killing and beheading of the babies, the killing of its citizens. But let's not forget that innocent Palestinians have been caught in the crossfire. This war is against terrorism, against Hamas, but they are co-locating with the civilians, their innocent civilians who are also losing their lives. One cannot deny that. That number is only rising every single day. So, that blame game is not taking Israel and Palestine anywhere. That blame game here in India is also not going to take the political parties anywhere. There has to be a very, very serious approach as to how this is going to be resolved. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on the debate. Thank you for your time.